I told my brother his decade-long obsession wasn't love. He showed up at his ex's house. Now he has a restraining order and my family blames me. I came home from my dad's birthday dinner on a Tuesday in March. My partner couldn't make it. Work thing. So I drove the hour and a half alone, picked up the cake my mom requested, and walked into the house ready for the usual script. My brother Philip still lived in his childhood bedroom upstairs, still worked the same retail job he'd taken right after high school, and still talked about his ex-girlfriend Rebecca like she was a character in a show only he was watching. Dinner started fine. My mom asked about my job. I told her about the promotion. My dad cut the roast. Philip sat across from me, scrolling his phone under the table. Then my mom made the mistake of asking if anyone had exciting plans for the spring. Philip looked up and said, "Rebecca's taking her kids to Disney next month. She posted the countdown thing this morning." My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. My dad glanced at my mom. My mom smiled that fragile smile she always used when Philip brought her up, like she was balancing a stack of plates on her head. "That sounds nice for them," my mom said carefully. "She's putting it on a credit card," Philip said. "Her husband doesn't make enough. She's going to regret that when the bill comes." I set my fork down. "How do you even know that?" "She complained about money in a post last week," he said. "She's always complaining. She acts like her life is perfect, but you can tell she's miserable." "You don't know that," I said. He looked at me like I'd just insulted him. "I know her better than anyone. You haven't spoken to her in 10 years. Doesn't mean I don't know her." My dad cleared his throat and reached for the salad bowl. My mom started talking about a sale at the grocery store. I should have let it go. I always let it go. But I'd driven 90 minutes listening to a podcast about codependency, and I was tired, and Philip had that look on his face like he was the only person at the table who understood the world. "Maybe it's time to move on," I said. The table went quiet. Philip stared at me. "What?" "I'm just saying it's been a really long time. Maybe talking to someone would help." "Talking to someone," he repeated slowly. "A therapist. Someone who could help you process what?" His voice was louder now. "You think I need help because I care about someone?" "I think checking her social media every day for a decade isn't healthy. For any of us." He shoved his chair back. "Are you kidding me right now? You're siding with her?" "I'm not siding with anyone. I'm saying this isn't normal." She led me on. She made promises. She said she loved me, and then she left and married some guy who doesn't even appreciate her. "You dated for 8 months in high school. It was more than that, and you know it." My dad set down his knife. Philip ignored him. His eyes locked on me. "You've always been jealous. You can't stand that someone actually loved me. That's not what this is about." "Then what is it about? You want me to pretend she doesn't exist? You want me to just forget her because it makes you uncomfortable?" My dad stood up. "Enough." Philip turned to him. "What?" "We're tired," my dad said. His voice was shaking. "We are tired of living in the shadow of a relationship that lasted less than a year. We're tired of every dinner, every holiday, every conversation turning into this." My mom reached for his arm. "Honey, no." My dad's face was red. "I'm done. I'm done pretending this is normal. I'm done acting like we're all supposed to tiptoe around this." Philip stared at him like he'd been slapped. Then he grabbed his jacket off the back of the chair and walked out. The door slammed so hard the picture frames on the wall rattled. My mom started crying before his car even pulled out of the driveway. I sat in the driveway for 20 minutes after he left, staring at the steering wheel and listening to my mom cry through the kitchen window. When I finally went back inside, she was at the sink, gripping the edge of the counter like it was the only thing holding her up. My dad stood in the doorway to the living room, arms crossed, staring at nothing. "I should go after him," my mom said. "He's 30 years old," my dad said. "He can handle being told the truth. He's your son." "That doesn't mean we have to lie to him." My mom turned around, her face wet. "What if he doesn't come back?" "Then he doesn't come back." She looked at me like I was supposed to fix this. "You need to call him. He's not going to answer." "You don't know that." I pulled out my phone and tried anyway. It rang twice and went to voicemail. I left a message. I said I was sorry for how I'd said it, that I didn't mean to pile on, that I just wanted him to be okay. I didn't apologize for what I'd actually said, because I wasn't sorry for that part. I called again the next morning. Voicemail. I called that afternoon. Voicemail. By the third day, the calls weren't ringing at all. They went straight to the automated message, which meant he'd either turned off his phone or blocked my number. I checked his social media. He'd blocked me there too. My mom called me every few hours. "Have you heard from him?" "No." I texted him, he won't respond. He's not going to respond. "Maybe if we just apologize?" "For what?" "For hurting his feelings." We didn't hurt his feelings, we told him the truth. It's the same thing to him. I hung up and immediately felt bad about it, but I didn't call her back. My dad didn't call at all. When I checked in with him, he said he was fine, that Philip would come around when he was ready, that we'd all said things we needed to say. He didn't sound convinced. On Friday, my friend Lauren texted me, "Hey, is everything okay with your brother?" I stared at the message for a full minute before I typed back. "Why?" He posted something about family betrayal. It sounded intense. I opened a browser and navigated to his page without logging in. His profile was public. The post was from 2 hours ago. It was a quote in white text over a black background. "The people who are supposed to love you will be the first to abandon you when you need them most." The comments were full of friends and coworkers saying, "You okay, man? And here if you need to talk." A few people had liked it. One person had shared it. I scrolled down. There were more. "Some people only care about you when it's convenient for them. Blood doesn't mean loyalty. You find out who your real family is when things get hard." I closed the browser and sat there staring at my phone. Lauren texted again. "Do you want to talk about it?" I didn't know how to answer. If I explained what happened, I'd have to explain the whole thing. 10 years of Philip talking about Rebecca like she was coming back. 10 years of my parents nodding along. 10 years of me biting my tongue at every dinner. If I didn't explain, Philip's version would be the only one people heard. I typed, "It's complicated," and left it at that. By Sunday, 3 more people had reached out. One of them was my cousin, who'd seen the posts and wanted to know if there was anything she could do. Another was a guy Philip worked with, who said Philip seemed really upset and asked if we'd had a fight. I told them all the same thing. "We're working through it." My mom called again Monday morning. "I think we should apologize. We already went over this." I know, but he's not talking to any of us. If we just say we're sorry, then what? He comes back and we pretend this didn't happen? He keeps talking about Rebecca like she's his wife and we all just smile and nod? At least he'd be here. That's not the same as fixing anything. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I just want my son back. He's not gone. He's 30 miles away in the same house he's always lived in. You know what I mean. I did know what she meant. I also knew that apologizing wouldn't bring back the version of Philip she wanted. That version didn't exist anymore. Maybe it never had. My dad finally called Tuesday night. He didn't say hello. He just said, I'm not apologizing. I didn't ask you to. Your mother thinks I should. I know. I meant what I said. I know that too. He exhaled, long and slow. I don't know what else we're supposed to do. Neither do I. We sat there on the phone, not talking, until he said he had to go and hung up. I tried calling Philip one more time that night. It went straight to voicemail again. I didn't leave a message. I didn't know what else to say that wouldn't just make it worse. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Lauren. I don't want to worry you, but I heard something. My stomach dropped before I even read the rest. Someone said Philip showed up at his ex's work yesterday. I don't know if it's true, but I thought you should know. I called Lauren back immediately. What do you mean he showed up at her work? I don't know all the details. Someone who knows someone said they saw him in the parking lot. It might be nothing. It's not nothing. I hung up and stared at the wall. My first instinct was to call Philip, but he'd blocked me. My second instinct was to call my parents, but I didn't want to start that conversation until I knew more. I opened my laptop and searched Rebecca's name. Her social media was locked down now. Profile picture only, no public posts. Smart. I checked her husband's page, also private. I tried searching for her workplace and found it in about 30 seconds. She worked at a dental office on the north side of town, same place she'd been for the past 5 years, according to an old post I'd seen Philip screenshot once. I closed my laptop and called my mom. She answered on the first ring. Have you talked to him? No. Mom, did Philip say anything to you about seeing Rebecca? Silence. Mom, he mentioned he was thinking about reaching out to her. When? A few days ago. He said he just wanted closure. And you didn't think to tell me that? I didn't think he'd actually do it. He said things like that before and never followed through. I pressed my fingers against my temples. Someone saw him at her workplace yesterday. Who told you that? Does it matter? Maybe they were wrong. Maybe it wasn't even him. Mom, he wouldn't do anything. He's upset, but he's not like that. He's been obsessed with her for 10 years. He checks her social media every single day. He talks about her like they're still together. How is that not like that? She didn't answer. I need to talk to him, I said. He won't answer you. Then you need to talk to him. I've tried. He says we all turned on him. He says we chose you over him. This isn't about sides. This is about him needing help before he does something that ruins his life. Don't say that. Someone needs to say it. She started crying. I heard my dad's voice in the background asking what was wrong. She didn't answer him either. I told her I'd call her back and hung up. My phone buzzed 30 seconds later. It was a text from my mom. A screenshot. A message from Philip to her, sent that morning. You all act like I'm crazy, but I'm the only one who sees the truth. She's trapped in a life she doesn't want with a man who doesn't understand her. I know her. I know what she needs. If I could just talk to her for 5 minutes, she'd remember what we had. But you won't let me do that. You'd rather I just forget her and pretend none of it mattered. I can't do that. I won't do that. If you can't support me, then I don't need you. I read it 3 times. Then my mom sent another screenshot. This one was from 2 hours ago. You always took her side. Even when we were together, you made me feel like I wasn't good enough for her. You said I was too intense. You said I needed to give her space. And then she left. And you acted like it was my fault. You never believed in us. None of you did. That's why this happened. That's why I lost her. I texted back. You need to stop sending these to me. You need to see what he's saying. I see it. Sending it to me doesn't fix anything. He thinks you turned us against him. I didn't turn anyone against anyone. I told him he needed help. That's not the same thing. She didn't respond. I called my Aunt Diane. She picked up on the 3rd ring, sounding distracted. Hey, it's me. Do you have a minute? Sure, what's up? I explained the situation in broad strokes. The dinner, the fight, the posts, the workplace thing. I didn't editorialize. I just laid it out. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I'll talk to him. Thank you. I'm not promising anything. He's been through a lot. He dated her for 8 months a decade ago. You know it's more complicated than that for him. It doesn't have to be. She sighed. I'll call him. She called me back 2 days later. I was at work sitting in my car during lunch when my phone rang. I talked to him, she said. And? He says you ambushed him. He says the whole family ganged up on him because you've always been jealous that he's capable of deep love, and you're not. I closed my eyes. That's not what happened. I'm just telling you what he said. Did you tell him he needs help? I suggested he might benefit from talking to someone. He said therapists don't understand real emotion. He said they'd just try to convince him to give up on the one person who ever mattered to him. So he's not going to do anything. I don't think so. I sat there with the phone pressed to my ear, staring at the dashboard. I'm sorry, she said. I tried. I know. He really believes this, you know. He's not faking it. He genuinely thinks she's the love of his life and that everyone else is wrong. That doesn't make it true. No, but it makes it harder to reach him. After we hung up, I sat in the car for another 20 minutes. My lunch break ended and I went back inside and sat at my desk and answered emails and pretended I was fine. That night I got a message from Connor, a guy Philip and I had gone to high school with. We weren't close, but we were still connected online. Hey, weird question, is your brother okay? I stared at the message. Why? I typed back. He messaged me last week asking if I knew where Rebecca worked. I told him I didn't know. Then yesterday he asked if I knew what kind of car she drove. I didn't answer that one. It felt off. My hands went cold. Did he say why he wanted to know? No, just said he needed to talk to her about something important. I thought you should know. I thanked him and closed the app. Then I opened it again and scrolled through my messages until I found 2 other people who'd been in our high school circle. I sent them both the same message. Has Philip contacted you recently asking about Rebecca? One of them responded within 10 minutes. Yeah, like a week ago. He wanted to know if I was still in touch with her. I said no. Why? The other one answered an hour later. He asked me if I knew her address. I didn't respond. It seemed weird. I sat on my couch with my phone in my hand and felt something in my chest tighten. He wasn't just talking about her anymore. He was looking for her. He was planning something. I called my dad. He answered on the second ring. "We have a problem," I said. I called my dad and told him everything. The messages to Connor and the others, the questions about Rebecca's car and address, the fact that he wasn't just obsessing anymore, but actively hunting for information. My dad listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "I'll talk to your mother. We need to do more than talk. What do you want me to do? Drive over there and drag him to a therapist? If that's what it takes." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I'll call you back." He didn't call back that night. My mom did, 2 hours later, her voice high and strained. "Your father told me what you said. It's true, he's asking people where she lives. That doesn't mean he's going to do anything. Mom, he's planning something. You have to see that. He's hurting. He's confused. He just needs time to calm down. Time isn't going to fix this." She started crying again, and I felt the same exhausted anger I'd been carrying for weeks press harder against my ribs. "I can't lose him," she said. "I can't." "You're not losing him. You're trying to help him before he loses himself. You don't understand what it's like. You've never loved someone the way he loved her." I almost laughed. "Are you serious right now? You've always been more practical. You've never felt things the way he does. Feeling things deeply doesn't mean stalking someone for 10 years. She sucked in a breath like I'd hit her. Then she hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, waiting for her to call back. She didn't. The next morning, Lauren texted me again. "I heard more. It's not good." I called her immediately. "Someone who works at the dental office told me he showed up in the parking lot on Tuesday," she said. "He was sitting in his car when Rebecca came out after her shift. She saw him and went back inside. He waited for another 20 minutes, and then one of the dentists came out and told him to leave. He did. But Rebecca was really shaken up. She filed a report with her boss, and I think she talked to the police." My stomach dropped. "Are you sure?" "That's what I heard. I don't know if she's pressing charges or just documenting it, but it's on record now." I thanked her and hung up. I called my parents' house. My dad answered. "He showed up at her work," I said. "She filed a report." Silence. "Dad, I heard you. This is real now. This isn't just him being upset. He's scaring her. If he does this again, she's going to get a restraining order, and that's going to follow him for the rest of his life." "I know. So what are we going to do?" "I don't know." My mom's voice came through in the background, sharp and panicked. "What's going on?" I heard my dad say something I couldn't make out, and then my mom was on the phone. "What did you just tell him?" I repeated it. "That's not true," she said. "Someone made a mistake. It wasn't him." "Mom, it was him. Someone saw him. Rebecca saw him." "She's lying. She's always lied about him. She made him think she loved him, and then she abandoned him. And now she's trying to make him look like the bad guy. She didn't do anything. She left for college and moved on with her life. That's what people do. You don't know what happened between them. I know he's been obsessed with her for 10 years, and she doesn't even know he exists anymore. He exists to her now," my mom said, her voice rising. "If she filed a report, that means she's thinking about him. That means she remembers." I closed my eyes and pressed my hand against my forehead. "That's not how this works. You've turned everyone against him. You've poisoned your father. You've made him think his own son is dangerous." "I didn't make him think anything. Philip did this to himself." She hung up. I sat there for a full minute, phone still in my hand, trying to decide what to do next. Then I opened my email and found an old address Philip used to use for gaming and random online stuff. I didn't know if he still checked it, but it was the only way I had to reach him. I typed fast before I could second-guess myself. "I know you don't want to hear from me, but you need to listen. Rebecca filed a report. If you go near her again, she's going to get a restraining order. That will go on your record. It will affect your job. It will affect everything. I know you think you're trying to fix something, but this isn't the way. You're scaring her. You're scaring all of us. Please talk to someone. Please get help before you do something you can't take back." I hit send and stared at the screen. The response came 6 hours later. One line. "You're working with her to humiliate me." I read it 3 times. Then I closed my laptop and didn't open it again that night. My dad called me 2 days later and asked me to come over. I almost said no. I almost told him I was done, that I couldn't keep having the same conversation in circles while Philip spiraled and my mom pretended it wasn't happening. But I went. They were both sitting at the kitchen table when I walked in. My mom's eyes were red and swollen. My dad looked 10 years older than he had 3 weeks ago. I sat down across from them. "We need to figure out what to do," my dad said. "I've been saying that for weeks." "I know." My mom reached for a tissue and pressed it against her face. "I can't do this. We have to do something," I said. "He's not going to stop on his own. He's not dangerous," my mom said. "He's just confused. He showed up at her workplace and sat in the parking lot waiting for her. That's not confusion. That's stalking." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "Don't use that word," she said. "That's what it is. He loves her. He's trying to get closure. Closure doesn't involve sitting outside someone's job after they've made it clear they don't want contact." My dad rubbed his face with both hands. "What do you want us to do? Get him into therapy. Tell him if he doesn't go, you're not going to keep supporting him. Set a boundary. And if he walks away, then he walks away." My mom let out a sound that was half sob, half gasp. "I can't lose him." "You're losing him anyway. You're just losing him slowly while he destroys his own life." "You don't understand," she said. "You've never had to watch your child suffer. I've watched you enable him for 10 years. That's its own kind of suffering." She stood up so fast her chair scraped against the floor. "How dare you! Mom, you think you're so much better than him because you have a job and a partner and you moved out. You think that makes you smarter. But you don't know what it's like to feel something so deeply it changes who you are. Neither does he. He was 18. They dated for 8 months. This isn't some grand love story. It's an obsession. Get out. Mom, get out of my house." I looked at my dad. He didn't say anything. He just sat there staring at the table. I stood up and grabbed my keys. At the door, I turned back. "If he ends up with a restraining order, it's because you let this go on too long. If he ends up in jail, it's because you told him his behavior was normal. I tried. I'm done trying." I walked out and got in my car and didn't let myself cry until I was 3 blocks away. My phone rang that night. It was my dad. "Your mother's in bed," he said. "She's not talking to me." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You're right." I didn't know what to say to that. "I don't know what to do," he said. His voice cracked. "I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix it. Only he can. Then what are we supposed to do? Just sit here and wait for him to ruin his life? I don't know. We stayed on the phone for another minute, neither of us talking. Then he said, "I'm sorry I didn't back you up in there. It's okay. It's not." He hung up before I could answer. I called a therapist on Thursday morning. Not for Philip, for me. I needed someone to tell me if I was losing my mind or if everyone else was. Her name was Dr. Brennan. She had good reviews and a line in her bio about family systems and crisis intervention. I got an appointment for that afternoon. I sat in her office and told her everything. The dinner, the fight, the posts, the parking lot, my mom's meltdown, my dad's silence, the 10 years of my parents nodding along while Philip narrated a relationship that had ended before he could legally drink. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair and said, "How long have your parents been accommodating this behavior?" "Since the breakup, so 10 years. "And in that time, has anyone ever told him that his thinking was distorted?" "My dad did, once, 3 weeks ago. That's what started all of this." She nodded slowly. "What you're describing is a reinforced delusion. When someone experiences rejection or loss, and the people around them validate their narrative instead of challenging it, they have no reason to question whether their perception is accurate. Over time, that narrative becomes their reality. It's not that he's choosing to obsess. He genuinely believes the story he's telling himself. And every time your parents listened sympathetically, every time they framed it as him feeling things deeply, they told him his version was correct. So we made it worse. You didn't make it worse. You enabled it to continue unchecked. There's a difference. How do I fix it? You can't. He has to choose to examine his own thinking, and that's extraordinarily difficult when everyone around him has spent a decade affirming it. The best thing you can do is stop participating in the accommodation. Set boundaries. Be clear about what's acceptable and what isn't, and accept that he may not respond the way you want him to. What if he ends up with a restraining order? Then he'll face a consequence that might force him to reevaluate. Sometimes people don't change until the cost of staying the same becomes unbearable. I left her office and sat in my car for 20 minutes, staring at my phone. Then I opened my email and started typing. "I know you think I turned everyone against you. I know you think I don't understand what you're going through. But I need you to hear this. Loving someone doesn't mean agreeing with everything they believe. It doesn't mean pretending their version of reality is the only one that matters. Real support means helping someone face the truth, even when the truth is hard, especially when the truth is hard. You are scaring Rebecca. You are scaring all of us. If you keep going, you're going to end up with a criminal record. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose everything, and it won't be because we didn't love you. It will be because you chose a story over reality. Please get help. Please talk to someone before it's too late. I'm not your enemy. I never was." I read it 3 times, changed 2 words, and hit send. He didn't respond. I didn't expect him to. 2 days later, Lauren texted me again. "I just heard something. Rebecca's husband is involved now." I called her immediately. "What do you mean involved?" He went to the police. He told them his wife is being harassed by someone from her past, and that she's afraid to go to work. They told him they can't do anything unless your brother makes contact again. But if he does, they'll move forward with a restraining order. It's not official yet, but it's 1 step away. I thanked her and hung up. Then I sat on my couch and tried to figure out what to do next. I could call my parents. They'd either panic or deny it or both. My mom would say Rebecca's husband was overreacting. My dad would ask what I expected him to do about it. I could do nothing. Let it play out. Let Philip make his next move and face whatever came after. Or I could try one more time. I pulled up his number. It still went straight to voicemail when I called, but I didn't hang up after the beep. "I know you're not going to listen to this. I know you think I'm working against you, but Rebecca's husband went to the police. If you go near her again, you're going to get a restraining order. That's not me threatening you. That's not me trying to control you. That's just what's going to happen. You're 1 step away from having a record that follows you everywhere. 1 step away from losing any chance you have at a normal life. I'm not saying this to hurt you. I'm saying it because I don't want to watch you destroy yourself over someone who doesn't even know you anymore. Please, just stop. Please talk to someone. Please don't make this worse." I hung up and sat there with the phone in my hand. It rang 30 seconds later, unknown number. I answered. "You need to stop calling me." It was Philip. His voice was flat and cold. "I'm trying to help you. You're trying to ruin my life, you and everyone else." "No one is trying to ruin anything. We're trying to keep you from ruining it yourself. You don't get it. You've never gotten it. She's the only person who ever understood me, and you want me to just forget her. You want me to pretend she doesn't exist. I want you to stop harassing her." "I'm not harassing her. I'm trying to talk to her." "She doesn't want to talk to you. She filed a report. Her husband went to the police. If you go near her again, you're going to get arrested." "That's not true." "It is true. Lauren told me. People saw you. Rebecca saw you. You sat in the parking lot and waited for her. That's not normal. That's not love. That's stalking. Don't use that word. It's the right word." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "You've always been jealous that anyone ever loved me. You can't stand it. That's not what this is about." "Then what is it about? Tell me. What do you want from me?" "I want you to get help. I want you to talk to a therapist. I want you to stop checking her social media and stop asking people where she lives and stop showing up at her work. I want you to move on with your life." "I can't." "Yes, you can. You don't understand. She's the only thing that makes sense. Everything else is just noise. If I let her go, I don't have anything." "That's not true. You have a family. You have a job. You have a whole life in front of you if you just let yourself live it." "I don't want that life. I want her." "You can't have her. She's married. She has kids. She doesn't want you in her life. You have to accept that." "I'll never accept that." I closed my eyes and pressed my hand against my forehead. "Then you're going to end up in jail. Maybe that's where I belong. Maybe that's what everyone wants." "That's not what I want." "Yes, it is. You want me gone? You want me out of the family so you don't have to deal with me anymore? You want mom and dad to forget I exist so you can be the only kid they care about. That's insane. No, you're insane. You and everyone else. You all think I'm the problem, but I'm the only one who sees the truth. She's trapped. She's miserable. And I could save her if you'd all just leave me alone. You're not going to save her. You're going to get arrested. Then I get arrested. Philip! He hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I called my dad. He picked up on the first ring. I just talked to him, I said. And? He's not going to stop. He said if he gets arrested, he gets arrested. He doesn't care. My dad didn't say anything for a long time. Then he said, I'll try to talk to him. It won't work. I have to try. Then do it fast, because if he goes near her again, it's over. I hung up and sat on the couch with my hands shaking. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. You're killing him. I hope you know that. I turned off my phone and didn't turn it back on until the next morning. I turned my phone back on Saturday morning and found 17 missed calls. 12 from my mom, 3 from my dad, 2 from Lauren. I called Lauren first. Rebecca filed for a restraining order, she said. It's official. There's a hearing scheduled for next week. I sat down on the edge of my bed. How do you know? Her husband posted about it. Not publicly, just to close friends. But someone told me. He said they had to do it because your brother showed up at their house Thursday night. My stomach dropped. What? He knocked on their door around 9. Rebecca's husband answered. Your brother asked if he could talk to Rebecca for just 5 minutes. Her husband told him to leave. Your brother said he wasn't going to leave until she came to the door. Her husband called the police. Your brother was gone by the time they got there, but they took a report. That's what pushed them to file. I pressed my hand over my mouth. The hearing's Tuesday at 2, Lauren said. I thought you should know. I thanked her and hung up. Then I called my dad. We know, he said before I could say anything. The police called us yesterday. They wanted to know if we had any information about his mental state. What did you tell them? The truth. That he's been fixated on her for 10 years. That we've tried to get him help and he refuses. That we don't know what else to do. Where is he now? We don't know. He won't answer our calls. We drove to the house yesterday and his car was gone. My mom's voice came through in the background, high and frantic. Tell her to fix this. I can't fix this, I said. You started it. You turned everyone against him. You made him think we didn't love him. I told him he needed help. That's not the same thing. You destroyed this family. My dad's voice cut in. That's enough. Don't tell me it's enough. Our son is about to have a restraining order because she couldn't keep her mouth shut. Our son is about to have a restraining order because he showed up at someone's house at 9 at night, demanding to see a woman who doesn't want to see him. That's not her fault. That's his. My mom made a sound like she'd been hit, and then I heard her footsteps and a door slamming. My dad exhaled slowly. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's not fine. None of this is fine. Are you going to the hearing? I don't know. Your mother doesn't want to. She says it'll make it worse. It's already as bad as it can get. I know. I'm going, I said. If they'll let me? Why? Because someone needs to tell the judge what's been happening. Someone needs to explain that this didn't come out of nowhere. He was quiet for a long time, then he said, I'll be there. The hearing was in a small courtroom with fluorescent lights and beige walls. Rebecca sat in the front row with her husband, both of them in business clothes, both of them staring straight ahead. Philip sat on the opposite side with a court-appointed attorney who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. My dad and I sat 3 rows back. My mom hadn't come. She'd told my dad that morning that if he went, she didn't want to see him when he got home. He went anyway. The judge was a woman in her 50s with reading glasses and a stack of files in front of her. She called the case, read the petition, and asked Rebecca's husband to explain what had happened. He spoke clearly and calmly. He said Philip had been showing up at Rebecca's workplace for weeks. He said Philip had been seen sitting in the parking lot, following her car, and asking mutual acquaintances for information about where they lived. He said Philip had come to their house Thursday night and refused to leave until the police were called. He said his wife was terrified. The judge turned to Philip. Do you have a response? Philip's attorney started to speak, but Philip cut her off. I just wanted to talk to her, he said. I wasn't trying to scare her. I just needed 5 minutes to explain. Explain what? The judge asked. That I still love her. That I know she's not happy. That if she just listened to me, she'd understand. The judge looked at him for a long time. Then she said, How long ago did this relationship end? 10 years. And how long did it last? Philip hesitated. 8 months. And in those 10 years, how many times have you had contact with her? None. But that's because everyone kept us apart. Her family didn't like me. My family didn't understand. If we'd had a chance... Mr. Brennan, the judge said, you don't have a relationship with this woman. You haven't had one for a decade. What you have is a fixation. And that fixation has now crossed into harassment and stalking. Do you understand that? Philip stared at her. I'm not stalking her. I love her. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. The judge looked at Rebecca's husband. I'm granting the restraining order. Mr. Brennan is prohibited from contacting the petitioner or her family in any form. He is prohibited from coming within 500 feet of her home or workplace. Violation of this order will result in immediate arrest. She turned back to Philip. I'm also ordering you to attend mandatory counseling. You will provide proof of attendance to this court within 30 days. Do you understand? Philip didn't answer. Mr. Brennan, do you understand? Yes, he said finally. Good, this hearing is adjourned. The judge stood and left. Rebecca and her husband stood and walked out without looking back. Philip sat there, staring at the table in front of him. I stood up. My dad put his hand on my arm. Let him go, he said. I need to talk to him. Not here, not now. Philip's attorney leaned over and said something to him. He nodded once, stood up, and walked out the side door without looking at us. My dad and I sat there for another minute. Then we walked out into the hallway and stood there under the fluorescent lights, not saying anything. What do we do now? I asked. I don't know. We drove home separately. My dad went back to the house to deal with my mom. I went back to my apartment and sat on the couch and stared at the wall. My phone buzzed. A text from my dad. He's moving out. Your mother's hysterical. I don't know what to say to her. I didn't respond. Another text came through 10 minutes later. She says this is your fault. She says if you'd stayed out of it, none of this would have happened. I turned off my phone. The next day, Lauren texted me. I heard your brother moved into an apartment on the east side. Someone saw him loading boxes into a truck yesterday. I didn't ask who. I didn't care. My dad called me 2 days later later. He's not answering our calls. We don't have his new address. He blocked both of us. I'm sorry. Your mother wants to hire someone to find him. She thinks if we can just talk to him, we can fix this. You can't fix it. I know. Thanksgiving was 3 weeks later. My dad called the week before and asked if I was coming. Is he going to be there? No, we don't know where he is. I went. My mom didn't speak to me the entire meal. She set a place for Philip anyway, with a plate and silverware and a folded napkin, and every time someone looked at it, she started crying. My dad and I cleaned up while she sat in the living room staring at nothing. She's not going to forgive you, he said quietly. I know. She thinks if we'd just been more supportive, he'd still be here. Do you think that? He set down the dish he was holding and looked at me. I think we should have done something 10 years ago. I think we let it go on too long because it was easier than dealing with it. I think we're all responsible for how this turned out. But do you think I was wrong? He shook his head. No, I think you were the only one who was honest. I started seeing Dr. Brennan every other week. I told her about the hearing, the empty chair, my mother's silence, my father's guilt. I told her I kept replaying every conversation, every moment, wondering if I'd said something different, if I'd stayed quiet, if I'd pushed harder, whether any of it would have changed anything. You can't know, she said. You can't control someone else's choices. You can only control your own. I feel like I destroyed my family. You didn't destroy it. It was already breaking. You just stopped pretending it wasn't. I left her office and sat in my car and watched people walk past on the sidewalk, living their normal lives, carrying groceries and holding hands and laughing at something on their phones. My dad called me 2 weeks later. We got a letter from his therapist. Proof of attendance like the judge ordered. At least he's going. That's good. Your mother wants to reach out to him. She wants to send a letter to the address on the proof of attendance form. What does it say? That we love him. That we're here when he's ready. That we're sorry. Sorry for what? He didn't answer right away. Then he said, I don't know. I think she's just sorry he's gone. Are you going to send it? I think so. I don't know what else to do. I told him I had to go and hung up. That night, I sat at my kitchen table and tried to write my own letter. I got 3 sentences in and deleted all of them. I tried again. I got halfway through a paragraph and stopped. There was nothing left to say. I'd already said it all. I closed my laptop and sat there in the dark. My phone buzzed. A text from my dad. Your mother sent the letter. We'll see if he responds. He didn't respond. Not that week. Not the week after. Christmas came. The chair stayed empty. My mother cried through dinner. My dad and I exchanged gifts in silence and left early. I drove home alone and thought about Philip sitting in some apartment across town, staring at his phone, reading posts about a woman who didn't know he existed, convinced that everyone else was wrong and he was the only one who understood the truth. I thought about my mother, waiting by the mailbox every day for a letter that would never come. I thought about my father, who'd finally said the thing that needed to be said and lost his son anyway. And I thought about myself, sitting in a therapist's office every other week, trying to untangle whether we'd failed Philip by indulging him for so long, or whether there was never anything we could have done to pull him out of a story he wanted to believe more than he wanted to live in reality. I didn't have an answer, I still don't. But I know this. Love doesn't mean agreeing with someone's version of the world when that version is destroying them. It means telling the truth, even when the truth costs you everything, even when it means losing them. The restraining order was granted. Philip went to counseling. He moved out and cut contact. We spent the holidays with an empty chair and the weight of all the years we'd spent pretending things were fine when they weren't. And I sat in my car outside my apartment, staring at my phone, knowing I'd done the only thing I could do, and wondering if it would ever feel like enough.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your favorite part in the comments. See you in the next one.